Hello, my name's Camila. Nice to meet you on the Bernessi channel. Today we are going to talk about the goblet squat and how to do it correctly. The goblet squat works all the major muscle groups of the lower body, including the quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. It also engages the core and the spinal erectors of your back, and even forearms, shoulders, and upper back. In essence, it's a total body exercise. You don't need much to get started with the goblet squat, just enough space and to stand and move comfortably, and a kettlebell. Stand with your feet slightly wider than your hip distance apart, your toes angled slightly outward. Hold a kettlebell in both hands at your chest, one hand on either side of the handles. Bend your elbows to your chest so the goblet is positioned in the center of your chest. Engage your core and look straight ahead. Press your hips back and begin behinding your knees to perform the squat. Inhale as you perform this downward phase. Keep the kettlebell close to your body during the movement. Focus on keeping your chest tall as you're lowering down. The goal is to get your hips below parallel with your knees. Make sure your weight remains evenly distributed across your feet or slightly more weighted toward your heels. You shouldn't come up on your toes as you squat. Check your position. At the bottom of the squat, your elbows should be positioned on the inside of either knee. This helps ensure that your knees remain aligned with your toes as you move into the deep squat position. Press through your heels and reverse the motion to return to the starting position. Exhale as you raise. Well, the goblet squat is relatively simple to perform, but mistakes are possible. The first one is holding the weight too far from your body. The kettlebell should always be held close to your body at the center of the chest when performing the goblet squat. Suppose you hold the kettlebell far from your body. In this case, you must engage your biceps, your forearms, and even pectoral muscles. This mistake pulling you off balance. It will also limit how much weight you can use when you're performing the exercise. The second mistake is rising on your toes. Putting weight on the toes is more likely to throw off your balance and compromise the integrity of your knees. You should be able to wiggle with your toes a little as you squat. This will help remind you to keep your center of gravity farther back to avoid stress on the knee. And the main mistake is knees caving inward as you squat. The goal of the exercise is to get your elbows to touch the inside of your knees at the bottom of the goblet squat. Even if your knees are still angled inward at the bottom, your elbow's placement gives you an opportunity to check your form and make sure that your knees are tracking properly. It helps reduce the likelihood that your knees collapse inward during this transition, ultimately guarding you against the tension and injuries. The deadlift is a great way to build strong legs and glutes. In a deadlift, you lift the weight from the ground to thigh level using primarily your leg and hip muscles, but with assistance of most of the large muscles groups of your body. Abs, quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves also come into the play. Position the feet shoulder-width apart, with toes under the bar. The feet point straight to the head. Heels should stay flat on the foot surface. When you lift, the bar will travel close to the shins and may even graze them. Stabilize your abdominal muscles by bracing them. Squat down, bending at the knees. Your back is straight, not rounded at the shoulders or spine. Lift the bar by pushing upward with the legs from the knees. Breathe out while exhaustion. Don't try to hold the bar up with your arms. The arms stay extended under tension while you are gripping the bar. As the left push up, think of the legs and shoulders moving upward in unison with the hips. The balancing point. The bar should almost graze the shins and rest around 5 level as you wish full height. Pull the shoulders back as much as possible without bending backwards. Lower the bar to the floor with a reverse motion, ensuring your straight back. Deadlifts have many benefits, but doing them correctly is paramount. Keep your back straight, no rounding at the shoulders or your spine. Breathe the arms to support the straight back. Practice with light weights. Don't hold the weight far from your body. It's okay to skim in front of your legs as you lift. Incompliance may lead to low back pain caused by compressive and sharing spinal loads. Also, keep your arms straight through the lift. Bending your arms can strengthen the biceps.